You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
And good morning. It is March the 26th, first day of spring break for local high school.
That's right.
And all the public school students. Yeah.
Sleep in time this morning. When do we get spring break? Also Christmas break, summer break,
We've graduated.
all holidays.
We have since graduated. We don't get those anymore.
We're in the real world now, people, with real weather. Then we're going to check in with Mr. John Scalzi to see how that's going to be today.
Oh, pretty good, actually, after we get through the morning. For the morning, I've called the first alert morning just because of the fog that's out there. Watch the Lakewood Ranch webcam. Put it into motion. Watch what happens to those city lights as we go through time since around midnight. In the last few frames, you see what's going on. We got some fog out there. Fog dense in places, not everywhere, but in some locations. The fog currently is down to a quarter mile in Punta Gorda and also some areas of Sarasota. So just be careful on your morning commute. That could come up on you pretty quickly and certainly lower your drive speeds this morning. It certainly did mine. A lot of cloud cover to the north of us. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of that, but we'll go with some partly cloudy skies at times today. At other times, it'll be mostly sunny. 60s across the region for your morning commute. Don't really see any problems with the weather as you head out the door, except for that fog. Your commute home this afternoon, though, should be just fine. Complete forecast coming up in a few.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Checking the roads right now. Here's a broad brush look at the first two counties. We'll see a little issue there at State Road 64 and I-75. An ongoing major construction project there involving the state continues, so be aware of that around the on and off ramps on 64. Otherwise, no delays to speak of so far at 5:02 on your Monday morning. And this is a live look at Siesta Beach. Tight shot of the sign there.
Shh, it's so quiet, but it's going to be so busy later on today.
Yeah, the good news is parking right now is available.
Yes, if you want to get out there and park at the beach right now, you can get a head start. You're good.
Yeah, so far so good. We'll keep you posted on that. Yeah, school is off all this week until next Monday. So the first day of spring break, Governor Scott has a timeline now for when Florida schools need to upgrade school security procedures. The governor sent a letter yesterday to superintendents and school board members. It details his expectations for school security upgrades, including a timeline for state and local officials to make changes. He says the State Department of Education will hire a director for its newly created Office of Safe Schools by May 1st. By July 1st, superintendents must designate a district school safety specialist, and by September 1st, each district must establish a threat assessment team that will meet monthly to discuss any potential threats to teachers, students, or schools. The upgrades are part of the state's response to last month's school massacre in Broward County.
So how will all of those changes work here in districts around the Suncoast? And does that timeline fit in with our local schools?
Let's check with Marla Spence. She is live right now at the Sarasota County School District with details of the governor's timeline. Marla?
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks for school districts across the state as well as law enforcement agencies across the state of Florida after that Parkland shooting. And as Governor Scott signed that bill and that law on more school measures throughout the state, the sheriff office with Sarasota County is now asking the Sarasota School District to make a decision on one of three school safety measures right here in Sarasota County. Now, those options include creating a guardian program which allows non-instructional school staff to carry weapons and enroll in basic law enforcement training. That other option is designating school safety specialists and threat assessment teams at every Sarasota County school, or assigning school resource deputies to every school and every community. Now, we spoke to Sarasota County's Sheriff Tom Knight, who presented two of those options to the school board and is strongly wanting them to make a decision by today.
This law is etched in stone. There is no wiggle to the law. They've got to accept it, that the rules of engagement have changed with this type of laws, and that the governor is not asking the school districts to get law enforcement on these campuses. He's telling the school district to get law enforcement officers on these campuses.
Coming up at 5:30, what those two options presented by the Sarasota Sheriff's Office to the school district, what those two options are, and how much exactly will it be costing the school district. That's coming up at 5:30. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Marla. She has mentioned she will be live throughout the morning on this story. Now, for the latest on this, plus breaking news and your up-to-the-minute first alert forecast, just make sure you head over to our app, download it on your phone. You can find it under WWSB or My Suncoast.
That Miami street where a pedestrian bridge collapsed at Florida International University earlier this month is now back open. The area had been shut down since March 15th when the bridge collapsed, killing 6 people. It reopened over the weekend. Victims in that bridge collapse included an 18-year-old student, a father of 3, and a business owner. An investigation is underway to figure out what caused that bridge to fall in the first place.
And developing overnight, police are confirming that 2 officers have been injured in a shooting in Austin, Texas. At least 1 officer was shot. The officers were responding to a SWAT team standoff when the shooting happened around 11 o'clock last night. Now, the 2 officers are reported in stable condition. It's not sure yet what led to that shooting and whether anyone else in the case was injured. Back
in this area, newly released video of a man facing charges for allegedly biting and punching Sarasota police during an arrest last Thursday. The cell phone footage shows Chad Washington under a police car as officers struggled to put the handcuffs on him. He was wanted for an active felony warrant. Police say they believe he was under the influence of the hallucinogenic drug called Spice when he punched and bit officers, sending 1 officer to the hospital for treatment. Now, his fiancée says they had trouble arresting him because they had used a taser on him.
How is somebody going to stop moving if it continuously tasing? And that hurts.
The police say this video doesn't show the entire incident and does not tell the whole story. Washington remains in jail, charged with battery on a law enforcement officer and possession of a controlled substance. Well, hurricane season is still a few months away, but Sarasota is already working to make sure people in shelters have a place to go in case of emergency. Sarasota County is talking to Charlotte County about a partnership that would involve using its shelters during future evacuations. It would also include a request for Charlotte County to help train county and school board staff to work in shelters there. Now, during Hurricane Irma, there was a lack of shelters in the Venice area, which forced a lot of people to either drive to Sarasota or to Northport. Those 2 counties are expected to work on an agreement within the next few months. And bad news for baseball fans. Today is the final home spring training game for the Pirates. The Orioles are done. The Pittsburgh Pirates will host the Philadelphia Phillies in a cross-state rivalry today at 1:05 at Lecom Park in Bradenton. Opening day for the majors starts Thursday, March 29th, later on this week. This was a great spring. I saw a lot of games this year.
Yeah, you saw one yesterday too, didn't you?
Saturday night went to a nice game. Fireworks afterwards, so real good.
Excellent.
Loved it.
Baseball season, yes.
And this on to the real thing now. Starts Thursday. Still ahead, first alert traffic, and it's not just humans that suffer from seasonal allergies. We'll tell you how pets are impacted. And coming up a little later in the hour, an investigation is underway this morning. What police say one man did to his wife and sister before shooting himself. So stick around, we've got that story coming for you as well. But first, let's take a look at this spring break forecast from John Scalzi. What's the weather going to be like today?
Yeah, it looks pretty good, actually. If you head out the door, you'll notice temperatures are going to be pretty mild out there, a little bit on the humid side. And yes, it's a first alert morning only because of the fog that's around some of the thickened places. As we progress through the afternoon, though, nice and toasty, coming in around 81 degrees, slightly at or slightly above the average for this time of year. We'll have the week's forecast in just a second.
Any website selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like. Then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
We have a 60-degree air temperature out there. Dew point is 60 as well. So a combination of dew point and temperature, exactly the same, bringing us to the possibility of some dense fog across the region. Calm winds also aiding in that fog formation, and visibilities are below a quarter mile in some locations. So allow yourself that little bit of extra time. 62 in Bradenton Parish at 62, Lakewood Ranch at 62, 60 in Sarasota itself, 62 in Venice, 63 in Inglewood, 61 Northport, and in Mayaca. So today's planner, it's a first alert weather morning just because of that fog situation around the region. 72 by about 7 a.m. with the fog lifting, giving that little bit of blanket of cloud cover, which will mix away, giving us a mostly sunny sky by the time we get to afternoon. We'll look for 74 degrees by noon, 81 degrees by around 3 p.m. It was a beautiful weekend. We didn't get quite into the 80s, but we certainly got close to it. And today, I think we'll crack that 80-degree mark and probably stay there right straight through the week ahead. 74 degrees by 7 p.m. Forecast looks like this. Hour-by-hour forecast will call for temperatures that'll, generally speaking, be in the 60s during the morning hours each and every morning this week with a wind out of the northeast. You'll see these banks of clouds that come by from time to time. That's because we have actually a cold front coming through the area. It's a very weak cold front. It's called a backdoor cold front because it comes at us from the opposite direction that it normally would come from, which would be from the Gulf waters and swing through the area. But this one is coming from the northeast, from around Jacksonville. And so as it moves through, you'll notice the wind's kind of shifting a little bit more to the east initially. And that will eventually draw in some drier air, more pleasant air. And by the time we get to tomorrow morning, I think we'll see a mix of kind of clear skies and maybe a few residual clouds. But this one won't bring much in the way of rain showers, although there are some rain showers along the North Atlantic coastline. Those showers will tend to dissipate as it gets closer to us as it moves through the drier air. The frontal boundary does. So don't expect much in terms of rainfall today. Maybe an isolated shower or light sprinkle in inland areas. That's about it. Across the nation, pretty quiet conditions except for this line of showers associated with the frontal boundaries. Those showers producing snow showers at high elevations back to the west, and then in our areas I mentioned those scattered showers through parts of the deep south. The front itself pushes through, kind of falls apart as it does so, with only an isolated sprinkler shower in inland areas. Otherwise, quiet conditions right straight through the remainder of the week. Warm, in fact, we'll call it this week. Dry air moving in will bring us plenty of sunshine as we move through the rest of spring break. And then a shower possibly this weekend as another frontal boundary approaches. That one could actually just stall out over us on Friday. You can see some of that drier dew point air. Dew points in the 50s and lower 50s to the north of us while we're in the 60s here. That drier dew point air will slowly work its way closer to us and then move on through. Temperatures, winds rather across the region, again shifting a little bit more to the east as that front passes by, maybe elevating slightly, but all in all, it looks like a pretty nice day for us. For boating, we'll look for that northeast wind shifting to the north at about 10 knots, maybe increasing just a little bit later this afternoon. And the forecast calls for some fine weather right straight through the period. We're looking at 81 degrees for today, tomorrow, and then we'll drip perhaps just barely into the 70s on Wednesday, and that chance of rain comes our way as we head into the weekend. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, John. Let's take a look outside your first alert traffic. There is one word that sums up this morning's traffic, and that is foggy. I have to second John's thing, too. There are some very thick fog patches in a couple places, so you might want to take it a little slower. Leave yourself a couple extra minutes early this morning. Not too much to see in Manatee County. There is that area of construction right there, State Road 64 and 75. A little slowdown on 301. As you head into Sarasota County, those roads are looking pretty clear out there this morning. No real busyness yet, just yet. Spring break has started is officially today, so those maps are going to get a whole lot more red as the day goes on. Heading a little bit farther south in the area, those roads are looking pretty decent. Not too much to see out there at 5:16 with your first alert traffic.
An Arizona woman's talking for the first time about flesh-eating bacteria and her experience. Kristen Lipinski says she began having flu-like symptoms and pain on her side in January. Then she had emergency surgery to repair the damage caused by flesh-eating bacteria. Doctors say the disease ate away nearly a third of all soft tissue in her body.
I've heard of the flesh-eating bacteria, and when I was told I had it, I honestly didn't believe it. When I woke up, I thought I was in a car accident or something.
About 1 in 100,000 people nationwide get the flesh-eating bacteria every year.
Well, millions of Americans suffer from allergies this time of the year. But is it possible for your pets to have allergies too?
Reporter Jamie Seymour has some answers.
Sneezing, coughing, and itchy and watery eyes are frequent symptoms of seasonal allergies in humans. With spring arriving in the Panhandle, your pets may also have allergies. Local veterinarians say those symptoms look quite different.
If you notice that your dog is excessively licking themselves or scratching a lot, certainly to the point where their skin is becoming red or irritated, if their fur looks a little bit discolored, they're over grooming, and that can be a sign that there's allergies starting up.
Other symptoms can include frequent ear infections and excessive rear end itching. Plenty of things can cause your furry friends to show allergy symptoms. From the common seasonal variety?
More commonly, we might see the animals are allergic to the weeds and the pollens and the grasses that we have around here. We have a lot of wind, a lot of dust.
To the less common factors from their environment.
Dust mites, even just, skin cells from other animals, or they can actually be allergic to us.
The Ridgway family's pup, Bree, started showing allergy symptoms at an early age.
Well, she was only probably about a year old. She started getting little bumps all over her, and then she would scratch them, and that would spread them further.
After taking her to a vet, Bree was able to get treatment that has continued to help her allergies over the past few years.
It helps her a lot. She's on it really continuously, but she still breaks out from time to time, and so we'll have to come in and they'll give her maybe something different.
If your pet has allergies, there's a variety of options to help treat them.
We can use over-the-counter antihistamines. They have anti-itch sprays and anti-itch shampoos that we can use on these guys. There's been some research into new prescription allergy medication.
Keeping your pet happy and healthy year-round, no matter what season it is. Jamie Seymour, News Channel 10.
All right, still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, some new changes could be coming to your smartphone.
And after a weekend of marches nationwide, we'll show you the changes that await students at Stoneman Douglas High School when they come back to class next week after spring break. Here's a peek outside our window. Plenty of fog out there. Look at that.
Thick patches. Did you find that driving in too?
Yes, I did.
Oh man, what a mess.
So take precautions, leave early, and that's the situation. 81 will be our high today, mostly sunny. John's forecast and more news on the way on Good Morning Suncoast.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Welcome back. Students pushing for new gun laws after the Florida school shooting are now questioning what's next for the movement.
One former presidential candidate offered a suggestion to the students, but not without some controversy. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest.
Overnight, the organizers of the March for Our Lives returned to Parkland, Florida. The students from Stoneman Douglas High School spending their spring break, mobilizing millions across the nation. The students head back to class with new security measures in place today. Only clear backpacks will be allowed, and armed officers will stand at entrances. Their return comes after demonstrations around the country this weekend demanding changes to gun laws. An estimated 800,000 people rallying in Washington. In the wake of the rallies, former Senator and presidential candidate Rick Santorum stirred controversy Sunday when he suggested that instead of pushing for gun reforms, the students should learn how to save lives during an emergency.
How about kids, instead of looking to someone else to solve their problem, do something about maybe taking CPR classes?
Santorum saying he was proud of the students' efforts, but suggested a different approach would be more effective.
They didn't take action to say, how do I, as an individual, deal with this problem? How am I going to do something about stopping bullying within my own community?
The reaction was swift. California Representative Ted Lieu tweeting, "Dear Rick Santorum, CPR is good for heart stoppage, not good for victims of multiple AR-15 bullets." Before the march, the NRA released a series of videos.
These kids ought to be marching against their own hypocritical belief structures. They hate machines that cause death, except, hold on, no, you ain't never going to take their cars away.
Rally organizers say their focus will now turn to voter outreach and getting high school seniors registered to vote.
So the fact that this movement has so many people realizing that it's important to get out to the polls is what I think is one of the best things we've accomplished.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
The question, does serving in the country's military protect you against deportation? The answer is no in the case of one Army vet who served 2 tours in Afghanistan. It is the case of 39-year-old Miguel Perez, who was denied citizenship here in the U.S. because of a felony drug conviction on his record. But Perez says the drug conviction was related to the PTSD that he has after serving his 2 tours in Afghanistan. Now, Perez was recently deported back to Mexico, but he argues that his wartime service has earned him the right to stay in the country and to receive mental health treatment for his PTSD and for substance abuse.
It is 5:24 now. You're paying more at the gas station. The average price for a gallon of gas shot up by 7 cents over the past 2 weeks. It's now at $2.66. Dating myself there, $2.66. Analysts say the increase is being driven by rising crude oil prices. Prices are expected to continue to rise over the next few weeks. The increase brings the price of gas to 32 cents higher than it was last year at this time.
Well, fans of Apple's iPhone, some big changes are on the way when it comes to new models that are coming out.
ABC's Kenneth Moten and Diane Macedo have details. This morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a possible new phone from Apple.
An analyst claims Apple is working on a foldable phone that doubles as a tablet, but don't get too excited quite yet. The analyst says it won't be out until 2020. And Apple has proposed a new group of emoticons to represent disabled people.
That's right. The 13 images include service dogs, the deaf, and people in wheelchairs. The emoticons still have to be approved. If they get the green light, they'll be available in the first half of next year. Computer scientists in the UK have created a robot that's in touch with its emotions.
Charles the robot can mimic just about every human expression. Researchers at Cambridge University wired Charles with a camera that records the face of a real person and replicates the expressions in a matter of seconds.
Charles looks a little creepy.
He does, just a little bit there, but I think I know him. Those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Walgreens.
Okay, take care.
Systemic, so probably take it at night. And if you have any questions, the instructions are kind of in Spanish as you request it.
At Walgreens, how we care will change over time, but why we care remains the same. Treating everyone with the care and attention they deserve. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
I'm your Venus.
The smoother the skin, the more comfortable you are in it. And now, there's a new way to smooth. Introducing new Venus Platinum, a premium metal-handled boost control to reveal up to 100% smooth skin. Venus.
At Happy Family, our delicious new organic yogurt is made without any added sweeteners, because that adorable belly is sweet enough already. Introducing Happy Baby and Happy Tot whole milk yogurt with probiotics.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore two hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke is a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live.
I live.
She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
Coming up this morning on Good Morning Suncoast, a wildfire has now burned almost 400 acres to the north and forced several evacuations. We'll tell you what they think started that fire.
I'm live at the Sarasota School District, where the Sarasota Sheriff is hoping that school officials make a decision on a school safety plan. What those options are, straight ahead.
And why having health insurance could cost you more at the pharmacy. That story and your spring break forecast next on Good Morning Suncoast.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Good morning to you. Welcome to this first day of spring break. Thanks for waking up this morning with us on Good Morning Suncoast. I'm Stephanie Webb.
I'm Ray Collins. March the 26th, spring break now in full effect. It starts this morning with plenty of fog outside.
It's going to burn away, isn't it, to a beautiful day-ish?
Exactly right. Exactly what it's going to do. It's going to be a great day out there at the beaches, no doubt. And it's going to be a crowded day, I'll bet you, as well. We're looking at, right now, the Cortez Bridge webcam, which is not too bad, actually. As we put this into motion, you'll notice the fog really doesn't roll in all that much, at least in the time frame of this video. Inland, though, we just showed you in the last half hour how things out of Lakewood Ranch are pretty foggy out there. And in fact, that's the situation. It's kind of hit and miss in terms of the fog, exactly where it's thick and where it's not. And, you know, it ebbs and flows. So in one location, it might be foggy one half hour, but the next half hour, not so much. Quarter-mile visibility in Punta Gorda, quarter-mile visibility in Sarasota. And in between, it could be worse or it could be a little bit better. There's a line of clouds to our north. That's a backdoor cold front headed our way. We'll talk about the effect on our weather coming up in a few.
Thank you, John. Talk to you soon. Checking first alert traffic now. Not too much to report. You won't see the usual buildups around schools today. Spring break all this week. Let's check farther south now into the northern half of Sarasota County. Little blip there on University in the westbound lane as you get past, let's say, Whitfield and head toward Lockwood Ridge. Otherwise, pretty clear. And checking our final map to the south, we'll see nothing much to speak of. Little blip there in 41 southbound as you head toward Port Charlotte. Let's take a live look now at the scene at Siesta Key Beach. That is not a photograph, we promise. That is video.
If you get out there right now, you get a parking spot for the whole day.
There it is. That's true. Act fast.
Head start.
Yeah, spring break begins today, goes all this week. They're back in session a week from today. Of course, Easter is this coming Sunday. On to the news now. Governor Scott has issued a timetable for school districts to make security changes in the schools. The governor said the state will hire a new director for safe schools by May 1st. He says districts have to have a safety specialist by July 1st and a new school safety team in place by September 1st. This comes in the wake, of course, of last month's school massacre in Broward County.
So how will all of the governor's proposed changes work here in the districts around the Suncoast?
Marla Spence is live from the Sarasota County School District with the story. Marla?
Well, Sarasota Sheriff Tom Knight is urging school officials here at the Sarasota School District to make a decision on one of two proposed plans for school safety for the county. Now, those options include putting school resource deputies in 12 remaining unstaffed Sarasota County elementary schools. So far, the school resource deputies are already in 10 schools, and this would require hiring 14 additional school resource deputies, which is estimated to be $2.1 million with a recurring cost of $1.1 million. Now, the second option would also provide security while school is in session and students are on campus. Deputies will work only 10 months out of the year, however, would be fully certified law enforcement officers and receive training specifically focused on their school security function and also the unique provisions of the Marjorie Douglas High School Public Safety Act. Now, that estimated startup for that would cost $1.1 million with a recurring cost of more than $920,000. And if that program is selected, that option would save the school district more than $961,000. Now, both plans would did offer and allow the Sarasota Sheriff's Office to hire 14 additional personnel for the Sarasota County Schools. Now, if either option is selected, the sheriff would also be willing to train all of those staff to put in those schools. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Marla, thank you for the latest on this story. Breaking news and the forecast. Check our new app. It's under My Suncoast or under WWSB.
Well, now to a developing story out of West Palm Beach. Detectives there are investigating this morning after they say a 44-year-old man shot and killed his wife as well as his sister before killing himself. Detectives say Julian Rosenberg shot the two women inside with a semi-automatic handgun, then walked out to his back patio and then shot himself. His 4 children, who range in age from 5 to 14, were home at the time. They were able to get away. They were not injured, and they are now staying in the custody of relatives.
A follow-up now on that fatal bridge collapse earlier this month in Miami. That street has since reopened over the past weekend. It had been shut down since March 15th when the new pedestrian bridge collapsed, killing 6 people. It happened at Florida International University. Victims in the bridge collapse included an 18-year-old student, a father of 3, and also a business owner. The family of one of the victims filed a wrongful death lawsuit Thursday in state court. The lawsuit filed on behalf of the son and wife of victim Rolanda Fraga seeks unspecified damages from a construction firm and a bridge engineering firm engaged in the project. An investigation will determine what caused that bridge to fail.
This morning, just north of the Suncoast, firefighters are battling a wildfire that has already burned almost 400 acres in Polk County. Now, that fire that may have been started by a lightning strike got close to homes, and crews even evacuated families for a few hours yesterday. But now, as of this morning, those evacuation orders have been lifted. Isabel Rosales shows us just how much of the fire is contained.
Smoke and lots of it. In fact, I am on top of one of the fire lines at this moment. You can see the bulldozer tracks where they have been hard at work to contain this thing. Take a look over there. The fire is still actively burning, about 50% contained at this moment. It's a fire slowly building since last week. The Florida Forest Service says a lightning strike caused it to spark in the middle of a swampy area. But this morning, it grew out of control.
My wife was panicking, but not me.
New York native John Giuliano had kept his eye on the smoke for the last couple of days, but today the flames got too close to him for comfort.
My wife's in the pool and black embers are coming down and she's saying, "What's this hitting me?" And I said, "It's from the fire." But I said, "But you're safe, you're in the pool."
He noticed the flames were just across the street from his home.
Once she's seen the flames, she's worried that, it's going to come across here and burn the complex.
In fact, the fire was spreading so fast it got close to about 8 homes. That's why crews evacuated them for about 2 hours.
The biggest challenge is just the dry conditions, the low humidities, the wind. It just makes an active fire, and it burns fast and hot.
Right now, crews are making plans and putting the bulldozers to work to get it contained. Giuliano just glad every neighbor and home is still safe and sound.
It's a natural occurrence, I guess. Lightning hits, things burn, then eventually grows back.
Fire crews are going to continue pouring water on these spots throughout the night and warn folks in the area to expect a lot of smoke tomorrow morning. In Lake Wales, I'm Isabel Rosales, ABC Action News.
In consumer news now, researchers say many people with health insurance could pay more for medicine, not less. That's because the cash price may be lower than your copay. Yeah, new research by the USC School of Pharmacy found you'd be better off paying cash about 23% of the time. It's called the copay clawback phenomenon.
The member paid more than the cost of their prescription and then some, and that then some was just additional profit.
The study's author says too often people with insurance are being penalized and paying more with that copay. I guess you don't have to use the insurance. You could just tell the pharmacist, I'll pay cash.
I think it's always the easy assumption that, if I have insurance and I've had some of those rates negotiated by my insurance company, so they must be less.
So you might want to check with that.
Yes.
You might want to pay cash instead of using your insurance if the copay is higher than the cost of the drugs.
Good point. Investigate.
Still ahead, latest and first alert traffic and why Pennsylvania issued an arrest warrant for a famous groundhog.
Plus, thousands of people packed into a Georgia campus for an early Easter celebration. Look at we're going to show you the unique egg hunt or catch in this case.
The injuries were there.
Right?
Hey, John.
Dropping hard-boiled eggs in the sky? What could go wrong?
We
right?
didn't make this decision, John.
Ouch. So we're looking at pollen count to be high again today. That is true. I think the pollen count will probably go down just a little bit tomorrow as we get some fresher air in here out of the north and the east. Beach forecast for today looks pretty good, though. If you're going to be heading out to the beach, expect a high temperature near the 80-degree mark, kept a little bit cooler by an onshore flow with a sea breeze in the afternoon. Mostly sunny, though, we'll call it, and rain-free UV index at about a 10. Slather on that SPF 50 or better sunscreen and reapply every 2 hours. Forecast in a second.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Nice shots sent into pics at mysuncoast.com this weekend, over the weekend. These are the Flying Scott Midwinters, kind of co-sponsored by the Sarasota Sailing Squadron, about 60 boats out there from this shot. Eric sent this in. Thank you so very much. It was a beautiful sight. Colorful sails there. A colorful sunset as well. Sarasota Bay. Sam sent this one in. And Adar sent this photo in of Sarasota sunset. Absolutely gorgeous, Adar. Thank you so much for sending that photo in as well. And in Venice, Darlene sent in a nice shot of the setting sun. It was, in fact, a spectacular weekend weather-wise. Really pretty skies. 62 degrees Myakka, Parrish 63, 63 Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch at 63. Got some fog out there. Longbow Key 65, some fog in places there as well. Venice at 63, Inglewood 64, 64, and Northport with quarter-mile visibility ongoing there. We're looking at temperatures that are, you know, pretty much average for this time of year and not much different than what we saw yesterday morning. In fact, this morning very similar to yesterday when we had some pretty dense fog around in places as well. We'll look at this morning fog giving way to partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny skies at times. This afternoon should be a beautiful day once we burn off the fog. We'll just call it a first alert weather morning as we see that fog kind of dissipating by about the 9 o'clock hour. It's 72 degrees at 7 a.m. and then as we head into the afternoon, we'll watch those temperatures get up to about 81 degrees, about average for this time of year. Plenty of sunshine around across the region, and the hour-by-hour forecast shows a couple of banks of clouds kind of move through at times today. And then there's sunshine through the holes in the clouds, so we'll call it partly cloudy, I guess. There's a frontal boundary that's kind of working its way through the region that'll bring us more of an easterly wind flow as we head into the afternoon or the early mornings tonight into tomorrow, actually. And that's going to provide us with some slightly drier weather, less humid weather, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that'll be kind of nice. The frontal boundary itself, located just to our north now, will be sinking across the region during the day today. I don't think it's going to trigger off much in the way of showers, but I wouldn't be surprised to see an isolated inland shower in the second half of the day. Across the nation, that frontal boundary with a cold front attached to its tail end being pushed south by a building ridge of high pressure in the northeast, causing this backdoor cold front, as we call it, because it's coming in basically the back door of the environment of Florida. Normally we see these fronts coming in from the west across Gulf waters, but this one's coming in from the east across land, so kind of unusual, or not unusual, but not the normal. And then that frontal boundary will dissipate away as we progress through the next couple of days and that drier air begins to filter in. So, and that'll set up the stage for some pretty nice days, I think. Northeast wind may get a little breezy during the afternoon because of that front. Northeast, we'll call it, turning east at about 15 knots a little bit later in the day. Choppy on bay and inland waters. Light chop to start with, building to choppy. And the forecast looks like this: 81 degrees today with a mix of sun and clouds. Tomorrow, mostly sunny day, should be beautiful. With lower relative humidity, we'll go with about the same temperature. This front is really not going to knock back our temperatures all that much, maybe a degree or two by Wednesday, but that's about it. Nighttime lows will not suffer all that much either. They'll stay right around the 60-degree range. And then as we head into the balance of the week, well, maybe on Friday another frontal boundary will move in and kind of stall out, bringing a couple of days of somewhat unsettled weather with rain chances at only about 20 to 30%. And then Sunday looks great. Back to you.
Thank you so much, John. Let's take a look outside right now to your first alert traffic. It is very foggy out there in some patches, so make sure that you give yourself a little bit of extra time if you were in the inland areas and out and about early this morning before you hit all that spring break traffic later on this afternoon. Right now, though, those roads are looking actually pretty good. Nothing too much to see out there in Manatee County. If you're heading into Sarasota County, those roads again are looking pretty good out there so far. No big blips or anything on the map, as well as South County. Those areas are looking pretty decent around there this morning. Not too much to see out there. 548 on your first alert traffic.
Craigslist says it's going to shut down its personal section. The classified ad website says it'll no longer have the portion of its website that allows people to seek encounters with strangers. This change comes only 2 days after the Senate approved legislation calling the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act, which paves the way for sex trafficking victims to sue websites that facilitate their abuse. The legislation is now awaiting President Trump's signature.
Well, Black Panther's 5-week streak at the top of the box office has finally come to an end. Pacific Rim Uprising is now the #1 movie in the country, bringing in about $28 million at the box office this weekend. But it definitely was not all bad news for Black Panther. Yesterday, the movie became the highest-grossing single superhero film of all times. And from a serious charge to a not-so-serious dance lesson for Will Smith, David Daniel has today's entertainment news.
Sorry about that video. So anyway, in Pennsylvania, they're going to take an arrest warrant for Puxhoney Phil due to false advertising. In response to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office warrant, a joint press conference was held involving deception. Officials announced that they are placing Puxhoney Phil under protective custody and warned the bounty hunters that the canine officer protecting Phil has taken a liking to him.
It's been indeed a long and brutal winter. Puxhoney Phil merely predicted it accurately. As his protectors and handlers, we are here to say that this vicious character attack will not stand.
The groundhog issued a statement saying police have the wrong person. He wrote they should be arresting Mother Nature and not him for this long spring.
All right, so the groundhog wrote that press release, right, Ray?
Yes.
With his tiny little hands.
Typed it.
Okay, all right. All right, take a look at this. This seems kind of crazy. Eastern came early for some residents in Georgia. Thousands of people packed into Middle Georgia State University's campus to get a good spot. As it turns out, it didn't really matter so much because the eggs weren't on the ground. They were falling from the sky. Helicopters dropped eggs full of candy and prizes all over the campus in that area.
Well, plastic eggs, yes.
Plastic eggs were good. Because John Scalzi and I were trying to figure out, we're like, are those hard-boiled eggs? Because that seems like it's a bad idea.
The yolk's on you in that case.
Oh, oof. Oh, boy.
I'd like to use that joke once a week.
Oh, boy. He's been sitting on that all hour, folks.
Oh, nice. There's the peek outside our window. Plenty of fog out there right now. It's going to burn off, though. We should see a high of 81 degrees today and mostly sunny conditions, which is good timing for this, the first day of spring break for area schools.
That is right. And we're going to have your spring break forecast when we come back. Thanks for waking up with Good Morning Suncoast right here on ABC 7.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
In life after the military, it's our duty as veterans to have each other's back. I'm retired Colonel Greg Gatson, and it's my mission to help you get the benefits and services you've earned. If you need to file a VA claim, remember these important steps. Submit an online claim through ebenefits.va.gov. Work with an accredited Veterans Service Organization, or VSO. And if you need to attend a VA claim exam, please go. Visit this website to learn what to expect.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Well, here are some of the top stories that we're following for you right now on the Suncoast.
Today is the first day of spring break on the Suncoast. Students are off all this week, so expect to see more traffic around our beaches.
Plus, wildfires that have burned almost 400 acres in Polk County may have been started by a lightning strike, according to officials. Crews evacuated homes yesterday, but those orders were lifted late last night, and the fire is mostly contained as of this morning.
And the final spring training game of the year takes place today in Bradenton. The Pirates will host the Phillies before heading north to start the season this Thursday.
Coming up in the next hour, we've got a recap of last night's much anticipated Stormy Daniels interview on 60 Minutes. Plus, imagine this, Ray, where you sit on an airplane, because we know they're all kind of, filled with germs, could determine whether or not you get sick.
I like to sit as close to the front as possible.
I like to not touch the tray table or the side or the armrest or anything like that,
You
too.
prefer window or aisle?
Oh, window, definitely, because I'm a little bit claustrophobic, so I like to look out the window and just imagine I'm not closed in a plane.
I prefer just the opposite. Claustrophobia usually means sit toward the middle.
Well, then you have to do with getting hit by the baggage cart or by the food cart.
Yeah, there's no right answer.
I know, right? Can we just have our own plane? When can we win the lottery?
Let's work on that.
Okay, we're going to work on that in commercial break right before this next hour.
Did you watch Stormy Daniels last night?
Yes, along with the rest of the country.
Yes, we'll have more on that interview on 60 Minutes next half hour. Also, much more local news as well. There's our respective Facebook addresses. Make sure you reach out and say hello, like the page when you get a chance. We upload fresh content all the time on our social media pages.
That's right. We've got some great funny moments from the show up there, too, so check it out. We'll be back right for another hour.